Okay, let's now move on to the second chapter. Please open your textbook to section 9.2. Section 9.2 in your textbook. If you did not remember to bring your textbook today, please bring it next week. If you're a new student and don't have a copy of a textbook, please talk to the TAs and see about purchasing a copy of the textbook. Okay, so please open your textbook if you have it to section 9.2. Please don't forget it next week, because we will be closely following the textbook in our work, and not always will we be having video graphs to show you. I'll be pointing out sections in the textbook that you need to read and look at, or I'll walk you through. So it's quite important that you do have the textbook and bring it to class. Okay, so I'm moving on to section 9.2, announcing the conference. So as we start this, I think I should mention a few different, I would say, conference essentials, some vocabulary. Call for papers. Please echo after me. Call for papers. Call for papers. So the call for papers is basically when the conference says, okay, we're now open to having you submit a paper or something for a presentation, submit an abstract for presentation. Next keyword is scope. Please repeat, scope. So scope has the idea of seeing things. For example, there are some words like our telescope, which is something that allows you to see far away. A microscope, which allows you to see something close up. A periscope, which allows you to see from below water, see up high and see above. So in other words, you could use it to look over fences. You can use it to, I guess if you're doing a military attack, you can use it to look around a corner before going around a corner yourself. Only the periscope gets blown away by the gunfire and not you. But so scope has the idea of seeing, or area in which the area you can see. In other words, the area that you can see is the scope. All right, and finally the acronym. Acronyms are basically like the acronym of Yangtze University is YZU. The acronym of National Central University is NCU. Okay, so they have acronyms, or NTU is the acronym for National Taiwan University. So many places and things have acronyms. So let's now start our talk, discovering the conference, the call for papers. So as you do your work and your research, you'll be wanting to try to publish it. Oftentimes as a grad student, the teacher may decide where he would like you to publish it, but also you may have the opportunity to suggest places to publish or conference you'd like to go to. So conferences obviously need to advertise, whether online or offline. More so online now, but before it was offline. This initial advertisement is a call for papers. So you will find a conference. For example, we find a conference, XTOP 2007, the Xiaotu Conference on Science and Engineering with Open Participation, 2007, okay? Well, obviously, you'll learn here what the conference is about on the call for abstracts. In other words, this conference is an interdisciplinary English conference, language conference in Taiwan to promote technical exchange in English among science and engineering graduate students. Okay? It has a submission deadline. In other words, you have to submit your abstract before that deadline. And further information you can find online, maybe at the xtop.ca or at the conference. And then there's usually information about the advisory committee, who are providing advice on this, whether it's a famous person or not a famous person. So let's continue on. As you discover the conference through the call for papers, okay, there's that one. I'll let's quickly look at it online too. I think I have a link here. I linked to it, yes. So you will come to your website and it will basically give you the conference information, the overview of the conference, its background, why the conference has been held, the scope, who can submit papers. You'll learn about the presentation format. So for example, in this conference, the presentation format is going to be a talk, 12 minutes plus 3 minutes for questions, and they'll be scheduled. How about the abstract? Well, you have to submit now. You must submit an abstract in English between 50 and 150 words long. All abstracts will be published electronically. Okay, that's the information for that conference. And you needed to submit it by March 15th, 2021. And proceedings would then be published online on April 17th, 2021. And the conference was May 7th to 8th, 1921. So there's information that you can see from our last time we had this conference. Now let's look at the scope of the conference now. So students in Taiwan are subject in the fields of engineering, science, and technology electronically. So that's how you submit. How do you submit? Electronically. It's not by paper. Okay. Abstract should be in one of three categories: either original research that you've done yourself, an overview of a topic or a scientific topic, or perhaps you could choose the life of a famous scientist, in which you help us to understand his life and what led to his good accomplishments. Okay? So all this information you'll find from the conference, the call for paper. Generally, you'll need to go to a website now. Before, it used to be on the piece of paper they sent us. Okay, once you've discovered the call and answered the key questions, you now need to submit your abstract. So there will be some guidelines on how to submit the abstract. Let's look at this one. How were the abstracts to be submitted? Okay, submit abstract, they had a link. And it was through Google Forms in this case. However, as you can see, this obviously it's already finished, so it's no longer accepting abstract submissions. But then you basically go through the whole system. Okay, so you can then submit the abstract. Now, one crucial thing that people often argue about is who should be the author of a paper. So determining authorship. First of all, obviously, your name has to go on the paper. Secondly, your supervisor's name needs to go on the paper. So generally, your name would be first. Your supervisor's name could be at the first, depending on your field, or at the end of the list. In between, if there are some students who have helped you a lot, then you might want to put their name as part of the authorship list in the middle, between your name and your supervisor's name, or depending on how your supervisor wants to do it. It's quite important that you include everybody who's helped, the people who are very important for helping you, because you may need their help in the future. So giving them an authorship will encourage that. Also, it's important not to give authorship to people who have absolutely no idea what you're doing. Okay, so sometimes it's in the middle where you have more trouble. So determining authorship is an important aspect in submitting an abstract. So we can now basically go through the abstract submission process. Let's try to temporarily open it up. I'm going to try to do this. Maybe I'll be successful. Okay, so I'm coming to here. When you submit your abstract, we're going to come to here. We're going to go to advanced orals. We're going to submit the abstract. Where's the submit abstract? Conference website. From the conference website, you can then move to the submit abstract. And since I'm the administrator here, I can, okay, that one's no longer accepting. I would then have to reset it and allow you to enter it. Let me take a second to try to do that, and we'll come back. Let's continue now through the abstract submission process. I think we can probably go this way. That's this one I want, I think. Okay, we're basically going to the submit abstract page. Oops, abstract 21. Okay, so now we've reached the abstract submission form. probably through the link in the title, for example. We then put in our email account. Okay, you write your email, your student number, your English name, your Chinese name in Roman pinyin, your Chinese name in characters. So you are then required to choose your category, whether it's your own research work. You're going to introduce the first semester research paper for advanced written work. Only one person in a group can do that. An in-depth topic study or a famous scientist in his contribution study. You can choose the title. Then you give us the title, the author list, who wrote it, what the hypothesis is in the paper that you're presenting, and then an abstract. And then once you've done that, you can submit it, and you will have completed the submission of an abstract. So that's usually the first thing that the conference requires, is that you submit an abstract. After you've submitted your abstract, you can wait then and see if it's accepted. If it's accepted, then you will need to pay the conference fees. You know that? Okay, I think that provides everything. I've walked you through the abstract submission process, so please go look carefully at the website, xtop.kujiyingman.com, and now start thinking about the topic you want to present. Are you going to present your own research work? Are you going to present a famous research scientist? Are you going to present an in-depth idea of a topic? And once topics are chosen, we're not going to have the whole class doing Sir Isaac Newton, for example, or Mr. Tesla, or perhaps we don't want everybody doing one topic. Okay, so that's your homework, to start thinking about that. And if you have any questions, please ask the TAs before you leave. Okay, thank you very much.